there. Good morning, everyone, and let's start our morning with prayer. We breathe in and breathe out, letting go of anything that came before, of anything that weighs on our minds and hearts, and anything ahead. We center into this sacred now moment, knowing the past is over, the future has not yet arrived, and right now is the most important moment, the most important moment. And so with great gratitude, we tune in, we remain fully present to all the blessings that the present moment has to offer. And for all of our good, and for this sacred now moment, we are so grateful. And so it is.
This is light of mine. I know that it shines. This is light of mine. I know that it shines. This is light of mine. I know that it shines. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. I set it all through the day.
Good morning. My name is Audrey Jones, and I'm your platform assistant for today. Welcome to our spiritual home, and welcome to you out there in the internet land watching the streaming service. Please come join us sometime if you like what you see here. We know many of you may be shopping around for churches and looking for a spiritual home. So if you like what you see today, please come and join us and meet us in person. So our collective wisdom and creativity is combined to bring freedom, peace, love, and equity and justice into the world in ways that we cannot imagine when working alone. We're stronger together. Our commitment to social action means we're called to make a positive difference in our larger community and to serve, awaken, support, and partner towards that end. So I'd like to welcome Lisa up to do the children's lesson.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. We are doing love this morning. I am love. That's our book for tonight. And so I think of those, I don't know, we always had those little sayings or little poems of love is, right? Love is family, love is friends, love is. I want you to think about what love is for you. Maybe something recently that you felt that you got to do. Like for me, love is a vacation with friends. Sandy and I just got back yesterday, and David, from a vacation that we went to Quinault Reservation, and it was just amazing, the connections we made. But then when I got home, my little puppy was licking my face like crazy. She missed me. She was just all over me. And I'm sorry, I love Luna, I'm so sorry. But that love is being licked in the face by a puppy, right? Love is having ice cream with friends. Anybody have some friends with ice cream? Does anybody have anything they have? And blackberry pie. I got to go to the traditional Duffy's yesterday for the first time and have blackberry pie, so that was fun. It was a tradition. Love is anything you've been able to do lately? Love is a picnic with friends. Hey, you guys coming to the picnic today? It's going to be amazing. David and I got hot dogs and hamburgers, and come on down. It's going to be so much fun over there in Steamboat Island. Love is, anybody else? Love is togetherness, being together. Love is reading a book to kids. I gotta say, I really love reading books to children. Of course, you could know that about me because I am a teacher, right? Now, it's really fun how love and gratitude are connected, though, because we can turn that within and then say, gosh, I'm so grateful I got to go on that vacation with my friends. I'm so grateful I got to have ice cream with Sandy. So grateful for my little puppy licking my face, right? We change, we make that switch from love is to gratefulness inside. And that can change any mood. I don't know about you, but when I do writing and stuff, sometimes I do like a whole page of prayers of everything that is on my mind. I'm thinking about people and I just hold them in my heart, or thinking about situations in my own family. And then I do a whole page of gratitudes for all the things, because the line behind us is always longer than the line in front of us. Meaning there are more people in this world that don't have what we have than there are that have more than what we have. We have to remember that we are so blessed with every moment, wherever you're at in this moment, just being right here. The line behind us is so much longer than the line in front of us. So when you start having those moments of, well, I wish I had that, you know, that's just a sign for you to try to figure out how you're going to get it. So it's fun. It's fun. Anyway, so I went ahead and I wore my affirmation on the shirt. I can't read it myself. Will you read it for me?
I welcome every blessing in a spirit of gratitude.
There you go. Everybody together. I welcome every blessing with the spirit of gratitude. Got this at Unity Village. It was so fun. Thank you, Lisa.
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light, in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
Our community's commitment to ourselves and others brings us together and makes our world a healthier and safer place for all. It is your generosity that supports our youth program as well as our amazing musicians, and we thank you for your support. So now we transition to the prayer portion of our service. As we prepare for the daily word, one of our prayer team members will be bringing forward the prayer request box. We recognize that God is everywhere present. Grace flows through each one of us in answered prayer.
Hello, my name is Linnell Mooney, and I'm your newest member on the prayer team. I feel so blessed to be able to serve you in this mighty way. So today, it's my first. Thank you. So on Sunday, July 20th, the daily word for today is surrender. Spiritual surrender is my path to peace. It's natural to have ideas and preferences about how things should be and how to work toward the results I want. But I can exhaust myself if I attempt to exert control over my life circumstances. In fact, the more I try, the less control I feel I have. Releasing the illusion of control, I practice spiritual surrender. So much more than giving up, Surrendering my efforts and my hopes to the divine within me is an act of empowerment. It means living my faith that God is in and through all things. It means trusting that there are outcomes better than the ones I have imagined. I surrender to God's peace and perfection within me. I give up trying to control outcomes and relax, welcoming serendipity and ease. Surrender is the way. In Proverbs chapter 23, verse 26, we're reminded, "My child, give me your heart, and let your eyes observe my ways." So let's affirm surrender together.
Spiritual surrender is my path to peace.
And I will be with you today. If you desire someone to pray with, I'll be in the back after service. Thank you.
So let us affirm our statement of faith together. There is only one presence
And one power in the universe and in my life. God the good, all power, presence, and wisdom. It is in God that I live, move, and have my being.
We're going to sing How Great Thou Art. I don't know what this song might represent for you, but for me it represents that Christ-like that gets so easily activated in nature. So when I sing it, the hair on my arm stands up. We hope you like it. Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yes, right.
Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the works thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power through
Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Steve. I don't know about you all, but I need a minute and another round of applause for that. Yeah, deep breath. All right. Wow. A young girl asked her father, "Where do people come from?" And her dad talked about evolution and Charles Darwin and the fittest of the species and humanity's biological and evolutionary roots and connection with other mammals and primates. And so then the young girl went to her mom and asked where people come from. And her mother talked about Adam and Eve and God creating humanity and the Garden of Eden and all the plants and animals. And the young girl said, "Well, I asked Dad and he said we're related to monkeys." And the mom said, "Well, yes, dear, he was talking about his side of the family." All right. Well, today's talk is celebrating the divine feminine in the Bible. And if I have not yet met you, I'm so honored to be speaking today. My name is Audrey Pitchford. I am your licensed Unity teacher. One of the things I shared last week is that I tend to think of every talk as like a class. So there's times that I'll ask you stuff, and I always ask questions that are like about what you think. They're never yes or no. They don't have a right or wrong. So feel free to speak up or not, as it is a fit for you. I'm on my own spiritual journey. I do my best to practice prayer meditation, just like you all, and I learn and grow, and I'll be sharing also today some new understanding I have. So as we're talking about celebrating the divine feminine in the Bible, even though I start with this joke that's kind of like the battle of the sexes, this is not about the battle of the sexes. Celebrating the divine feminine in the Bible is not about making men bad or wrong, not about making the masculine bad or wrong, not about elevating women at the expense of men. So I believe that the divine masculine and the divine feminine are both important, and that regardless of our gender, that we all have access to the divine masculine and the divine feminine and the divine neuter, because the divine does not necessarily have to have a gender in my thinking. So I also believe that challenges arise when we are perhaps missing one element of the divine. And in preparing for this talk, I was doing some research, and one of the things I researched was a piece that was written by Reverend Kelly Isola. Some of you may be familiar with her. She writes for Unity Magazine. She's a friend of Reverend Terry's, and she's spoken for us here on video before. And she was also one of my teachers when I was becoming a licensed Unity teacher. And here's what she had to say about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Reverend Kelly said, "For thousands of years, our culture, religion, and spirituality have been dominated by masculine principles, such as sovereignty, control, protection, hard work, structure, and logic, to name a few. That is all potentially good stuff. Feminist theology is not about denigrating anything masculine. It is about including and raising up feminist values and principles in a masculine-dominated world. Feminist values of rest, wholeness, communion, nurturing, connection, appreciation, and flow. And I believe all these values are available to all of us. It may be due to old stereotypes that they're labeled masculine and feminine. Yes?
Are the place of femininity and actual feminization and working on all of it, I think that it is also a point that we're trying to restore healthier balances for masculine people too, and healthier masculine representation as well. So it's not just for women, it's for everybody.
Yeah, really good point. If you didn't hear that, there was an opinion expressed that this isn't just for women, that it's about restoring balance and perhaps a healthier view of masculinity for everyone. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. So, like I said, I believe all of these principles are available to all of us at each moment and important to all of us. And again, they may be labeled masculine and feminine because of old ideas that, that we don't need to hang on to necessarily unless we want to. So Reverend Kelly talked about seeing the divine feminine, especially in our Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore's writings, especially as Myrtle was responding to people who wrote to her for prayer about the issues of the day, things like alcoholism and worries about war and concerns about the family. Now, our other Unity co-founder, Charles Fillmore, also wrote about the authority of the divine feminine for a Sunday talk in January of 1916, nearly 110 years ago. And some of his ideas, for some people, may be kind of edgy today. At the time, I'm sure they were very scandalous. So Charles wrote that he believed Jesus had a wife, and I actually believe that too. I figured you would, Teresa. Teresa believes it too. Charles advocated for women's suffrage, or the right to vote. And this was 4 years before women had the right to vote in this country. And when I say women, that's not even accurate, because that was primarily white women, and women of color received the right to vote significantly later. Charles also advocated for men going to their wives for guidance in all things, including financial affairs. And again, this was at a time that women didn't legally have the right to vote, so pretty radical for 1916. Charles also said that he agreed that all people have elements of the masculine and the feminine within. And here's what he had to say. He said, when we're searching for the kingdom of heaven, to find it, we must let go of ideas of intellect, of being a person of the world, of outer success, and become humble. And to me, the word humble always means teachable, willing to learn. To let go of all egotism and the idea of knowing it all. The divine law, said Charles, is within us. And Charles said, there is in the feminine an intuitive something that the intellectual does not possess. A spiritual quality of intuition, of love, and of tenderness. And when the divine feminine is established in the world, Charles said, we will be an example to people everywhere. How beautiful is that? So our Unity roots are deep in the divine feminine, even if we did not realize it. And so then we're talking about studying the Bible, and there may be some challenges. If anyone here has ever read anything in the Bible or heard any Bible quotes, perhaps you might have shared some challenges I've run into in identifying the divine feminine in the Bible, much less celebrating. Many stories and texts in the Bible originated from a very patriarchal culture. And when I say the word patriarchal, what I mean is that these societies where these stories originated, in these societies, formal power and leadership was generally held in male hands. And so this is often the very strong perspective that we get in biblical readings. The Bible still affects us today. There are some traditional churches that use the Bible to exclude women from formal church leadership roles. Now, Unity has never been like that, but it does happen out in the larger world. And even among people who do not consider themselves religious or spiritual, the Bible can have an impact because we live in a country with deep Christian roots. And so this patriarchal heritage still is in play. I don't know if anyone else remembers, 11 years ago, in 2014, Janet Yellen was named the first woman chair of the Federal Reserve. And there was a lot of what I'm going to call swirl in the media about whether she was ready, about whether she was qualified. And I think perhaps it was maybe that there were some other people who were not ready, and also perhaps not qualified. And I think sometimes this patriarchal thinking plays out in situations in an over-analysis of certain people based on certain characteristics. So sometimes looking for the divine feminine is a challenge. And I remember also in the 1980s, the church that I belonged to at the time was just starting to examine what I sometimes call the he-man-God language, referring to God as a he, and starting to explore other pronouns for God, such as she. And at the time, in this conservative church I belonged to, some of the people most opposed to changing the language were the women of the church. And so, again, we might all have times that patriarchy has affected our thinking, affected our experience, affected our comfort with change. And this is a great time for us to lean into some of the principles we've been talking about in this month of July. We've been talking about spiritual understanding, which is our ability to see beyond experiences, to question the thoughts in our head, what we think we know, and ask, why do I believe that? Does that serve me? Do I want to believe something else? I can stick with what I believe. I can believe something new. Another theme we've been talking about this month is spiritual freedom, recognizing that we are not bound by what we learned growing up. We are not bound by what the larger culture believes. We're not bound by the thinking of our friends and family. We're not even bound by our own past ideas. That we can always have a new thought. We always have this ability to change our minds. This brings me to our third theme that we've been talking about this summer, Bad Girls of the Bible. I did share a couple of weeks ago that this was not my favorite title and why. And after the service, I was very grateful that someone who I had not yet met came up to me and shared their perspective and why they saw this title differently. And I like to work on my humility and being teachable and being willing to learn. And I learned from what this person chose to share. So I'm really grateful that she came up to me. And I increased my spiritual understanding. And so I wanted to check in with the group and find out if the title, Bad Girls of the Bible, resonated with you or you found it exciting. I would invite you to share what was it about it that resonated with you.
I liked it. There's something body, down, deep, dirty, good about the title.
Okay, something body, down, deep, dirty, good. Thank you, Betty. I appreciate it. Several others did as well. Yes?
Yeah, I've heard like a different meaning for bad, as in using it like, ooh, that was bad.
Okay, so maybe thinking about a different meaning for the word bad, like it was something really cool or something really admirable. Yeah? Yeah, thank you. What else?
I will say this, we were asked to write a song, Bad Girls, instead of Bad Boys. That was a heck of a good time with Deb and Steve here. So
Okay.
we love just shifting things around and yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you were asked to write the song and it sounded like it prompted some creativity and some fun, shifting things around. Yeah, thank you, Janine. Okay. Yes?
I think bad is a matter of perspective, and it's a label that maybe isn't always appropriate, because somebody who may have something that somebody thinks is bad is not really wholly bad, and so I think it's kind of limiting.
Okay, all right, thank you, Sandra. So recognizing that bad might be a label coming from someone else, it might be limiting, and keeping it maybe in perspective that there could be different ways of interpreting. Yeah, okay, different ways of interpreting these stories. Thank you, Diana.
You go, girl.
You go, girl. Yeah, so maybe cheering these women on as they're doing something defying convention. Yeah, okay, Diana.
Audrey, every time I hear anybody, I know nothing or anything about the Bible, okay? We'll just put that there.
Okay.
But whenever I hear somebody say, that's a bad girl, I'm very curious, because that's usually a person that wants to speak up.
up and challenging things. Thanks, Diane.
In addition to what she said, it's kind of like a club that I would want to be part of.
Okay. Linnell wants to join the club, right? Okay, yeah. Maybe these are people who'd be interesting to hang out with. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, all this and more. And one of the things that the person who spoke with me shared, which I really resonated with, is she said, so much of the Bible is about men and male stuff, and it's just really nice to hear some stories about women. And I thought, well, I certainly resonate with that as well. In Unity, we talk about Jesus being our elder brother and way shower. And as one of the older siblings in my family, there are times I have longed for an elder sister and way shower to show me the way. And so that resonated with me in my heart. The truth of these descriptions of God as a he, as with male attributes, I believe is that they are all symbols or metaphors, that they are all ways to try to describe what is not always something that we can wrap our brains around from our human perspective. And Marge Muftka, who's an Australian theologian, wrote in an article about is God male or masculine, that even though many Christian traditions teach that God is beyond understanding, God is transcendent, God is spirit, that many traditions still use masculine pronouns and attributes to describe God, even though there might be general agreement that God is spirit and not necessarily a big guy up in the sky. Yeah.
I would also like to say, I'm very new to this Bible. I tried to read it quite a few times, and I always get stopped because of this specific topic. And I think even the terms of what is masculine or not, as far as traits from God in the Bible, femininity can be very strong, very mothering, and sometimes very harsh even. And I really love hearing this piece from you.
Okay, great, thank you. So some reflection that sometimes the Bible can be hard to read with all the masculine attributes, and even what we label as masculine, can be embodied by women, by females as well, that women can be strong, women can be doers, women can be decisive leaders. Yeah, thank you. So again, some of these attributes may rely on old stereotypes of being classified as male and female. All right, so I'm guessing, and I know sometimes different people have different quantities of history with the Bible. I'm guessing some of us have had some experience with the Bible, and I would invite you now, if you can share, what are some of the masculine images or descriptions that you've heard about God, either in the Bible or in the media? Like, I think about that movie, I think it was back in the 80s again, where, was it George Burns who played God? Yeah, okay, so what other kind of masculine depictions or descriptions of the divine have you seen or heard? Yes?
Is that the same movie with Jim Carrey?
That's a different movie with Jim Carrey, but in Jim Carrey, it was, what was the name of that actor? Morgan Freeman. Yeah, Morgan Freeman played God. I actually really liked Morgan Freeman in that movie. Yeah. It was a man of color, he was still a man. Yeah. All right. Other masculine attributes or depictions.
Is an image that I think of.
Okay, Samson, an image that you think of?
Well, he's a strong guy, although, he has his hair.
Okay. Strong guy, somebody with hair. Bulky, okay. Yep, thank you, Steve. Yes, Stacey.
Anger and jealousy.
Yeah, depictions of God as angry and jealous. Thank you, Stacey. Other thoughts? Yeah.
Just thinking about Moses and God coming, and it's very angry. He had some anger issues.
Yeah, some of the Moses stories, God appeared to have anger issues. Wanting human sacrifices. Bloodthirsty. Anything else? Yeah. Okay, yes, sometimes described as a loving father. So Jesus used the word Abba or Daddy to talk about the divine. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I guess there's like a learning from your mistakes kind of.
Okay. Yeah, I love that example. So after the flood, God promises to humanity not to destroy humanity through flood again. Yeah. And so there's an example of learning from mistakes. Tony.
The Good Samaritan is a male example of
Yeah.
love and tenderness and compassion.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. The story of the Good Samaritan, the person who did not walk by the wounded man, but tended to his wounds and made sure he was taken care of. Yeah, beautiful example of male tenderness and male caregiving. All right, and as we know, tenderness and caregiving are not limited to women only. So, something that we might not always hear a lot about is there are actually a lot of images of the divine in feminine form in the Bible as well. Here are some examples, and they are perhaps less well known. So in the book of Psalms, God is compared to both a male and a female leader who provides for and leads others. There are many passages that compare the divine to a mother. In the book of Isaiah, God is described as a woman giving birth, a mother who has carried Israel from birth, a mother who comforts her children and remembers them. In the book of Hosea, God's love and nurture for Israel is also described with mothering and maternal energy. And in the book of Psalms, God is portrayed as the eternal creator, a mother giving birth. God is also sometimes described as a midwife, and in the world of the Hebrew people, only women served as midwives. So in the book of Psalms, in Isaiah and Job, God is portrayed as a midwife who assists in the delivery of a newborn. Sometimes God is compared to mother animals. In the book of Hosea, like a mother bear protecting her cubs. In the book of Deuteronomy, like a mother eagle teaching her young to fly. And in Matthew and Luke, like a mother hen protecting her chicks. In addition, Jesus used the image of comparing God to a housewife. For example, in the book of Luke, he compared a woman working yeast into bread like God's activity causing the kingdom of heaven to grow. And in Luke 15, he talked about God like a woman searching and cleaning her house looking for a lost silver coin, in the same way that the Most High is available to anyone and everything, no matter how lost the world may consider them. Now, despite this, a lot of the male imagery has been very predominant in the Bible and in traditional Christianity. There's some theories about this. I mentioned earlier that these biblical stories and texts arose during patriarchal cultures and were subsequently translated by patriarchal cultures. I have to tell another joke about translation just because it cracks me up. So this monk went to visit a monastery where the monks were reading from sacred texts. And the visiting monk realized that what the monks were using were copies. That back in the old days, before Xerox machines, it was very common. The monks would have one book open and they'd copy it to create a copy, word for word, line for line. And the visiting monk said, "Oh, this is great, but I'd really love to see the original. Do you happen to have the original anywhere around?" And the monk said, "Oh yeah, it's down in the basement somewhere. You're welcome to go there and rummage around." So the visiting monk went down to the basement and found the original and was reading it. And the rest of the monks were looking for him, wondering what had happened to him. And they went in the basement and they found him crying. And they said, "Well, whatever is the matter?" And he said, "It says celebrate, not celibate." So we know stuff can get lost in translation. Or changed. Some other theories about why masculine images are so predominant in the Bible stories. There's some theories that the Hebrew people may have been trying to distinguish their beliefs from mother goddess religions that were prevalent in their local area at the time. There's some thinking about limitation of language. Several of the names of the divine have male connotations, although there are names of the divine with female connotations and with neutral connotations as well. There's even some speculation that the Jewish people would only have accepted a male Messiah, that they were specifically looking for someone who could preach in the temple, and that a female Messiah might have been seen as only about saving women, and that Jesus' teachings about self-sacrifice and the treatment of women as social equals may have lost their radical force coming from a woman because of the stereotype that it was considered more usual for a woman to be humble and servile than it was for a man to be so. So, again, I believe that the purpose of all these metaphors and similes and descriptions and images is to help us understand or try to understand what ultimately may be beyond our understanding. And that it's back to spiritual understanding and spiritual freedom, examining what have we heard, what do I want to learn more about, what speaks to me, what doesn't speak to me. And that it's okay to rely on images of the divine that are masculine or feminine or neutral, that we don't have to pick. We can use what serves us and what resonates with us. In Unity, we talk about metaphysical Bible interpretation. And you've probably heard me say this before, that the word metaphysical literally means beyond the physical, looking beneath the surface. And what does this mean to me? And I think this is such a great practice to use with our spiritual understanding, that even if Jesus called God Abba, that we can look at, what does that mean to me? What does that mean to me that Jesus felt so close to the divine that it was as if he was calling the divine daddy? What kind of relationship did Jesus have with the divine? How does that resonate with me? What does that mean for me in my life? And what it means for me can be something different than what it means for you, because we each get to practice our own spiritual understanding and our spiritual freedom in this way. Sarah Regan, who's a writer about spiritual topics, wrote an article about ways to connect with the divine feminine. And what I loved when I found this article is how many of these align with unity practices that we are already likely familiar with, and maybe we didn't even know that they were about celebrating the divine feminine. And so momentarily, when we have some time for meditation, we're going to actually practice one of these practices. And before I wrap up this talk, I wanted to share with you some of Sarah's ideas for connecting with the divine feminine. First, she says the idea of slowing down, letting go of getting more done and doing, focusing on being and reclaiming rest. And she even used the words, going into the silence. Oh, I love it. I don't know if she's a unity person or not, but that certainly resonated with my experiences with meditation. And I'm guessing it may for you as well. Sarah talked about connecting with our inner self, spending time in prayer, spending time in meditation, spending time in nature, reflecting, journaling, and using these to tap into our intuition. So, yeah, we might go to others and hear their thoughts and ideas, and we also value going into our inner knowing, listening to that still small voice that is always speaking to us. Sarah talked about tuning into our senses. What do we see? What do we hear? What do we smell? What do we taste? What do we feel? And just noticing with mindfulness, with acceptance, with gratitude, with appreciation. Finally, Sarah talked about practicing self-compassion, seeing ourselves the way the Most High sees us. In Unity, we believe that the divine is an expression of love available for all people, not just people in a Unity Center on a Sunday morning, but everyone. the divine is like the sunshine radiating to everyone. So seeing ourselves like the Most High sees us, with great radiating love in all situations, in all conditions, in all experiences. So whether we know it or not, unity has long been an expression of the divine feminine. The divine feminine is alive and well in Unity's history and in our current practices today. And so we'll have some special music from Janine, and then we'll get a chance, like I said, to practice a meditation that aligns with some of these divine feminine principles.
Thank you, Audrey. Beautiful lesson. And if you want to place a hand on your heart for a bigger experience as you sing with us. The will of my heart, the will of my heart is to be, oh, constantly. The will of my heart is to be, constantly. Let's do it just a little bit bigger. The will of my heart is to be
And so we take this time to practice mindfulness, a mindfulness meditation. And during this meditation, you're welcome to have your eyes open or keep them closed, whatever is most comfortable for you. In this meditation, we will be tuning into our 5 senses with mindfulness. And what that means is we will let go of any tendency to judge, any thinking of things being right or wrong. Just notice. And if it's a fit for you, you can also extend appreciation to what you notice. And so first I invite us to look around. Whether you do this with your eyes open or in your mind's eye, to look and notice what you see, what your eyes pick up, whether it's images, whether it's light or darkness, whether it's shapes. We notice. We accept. And in our mind's eye, I invite us to say, we see you. And next we focus on our gift of hearing. We notice the sounds that our ears are picking up. Whether it's the beautiful piano music, the seagull, traffic outside. Maybe we're hearing the sound of our own belly rumbling if we're hungry. mind's eye, our mind's ear, I invite us to affirm, I hear you. I hear you. And now we turn to our sense of smell. Noticing any scents that our noses are picking up. Maybe it's the smell of someone's perfume or lotion. Maybe the smell of a cough drop, furniture polish, dust. Maybe we're wearing sunscreen and we smell that. With mindfulness, we notice. And I invite us within to attend to these scents with the words, I smell you. I smell you. We turn next to our sense of taste. Maybe it is a cough drop, maybe we just taste our own saliva. Maybe we taste toothpaste, mouthwash, making our mouths clean. Maybe we taste hunger. Maybe we taste thirst. I invite us to notice. Notice. And in our minds, we can say, I taste. I taste you. And now we turn to our sense of touch. Noticing what is up next to our skin, maybe how it feels inside of our clothing. If something's hanging into our eyes or feeling uncomfortable in any way. Noticing if we can feel our own hand touching on our own arm, or maybe the warmth of the person sitting next to us, or maybe feeling a breeze on the back of our neck. Noticing touch. Noticing. And in our minds, we can acknowledge this, saying, I touch you. And so I invite us to bring all of these sense experiences, sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. Bring our awareness of all of this for a few moments into the silence. We know that these senses are always available to us. However we choose to see and envision the divine in our lives, we know that we are greatly gifted and blessed by all we see, all we hear, all we smell, all we taste, and all we touch. And for this mindfulness practice of focusing in on our senses, of letting go of any judgment, and just being fully mindful and present to what our senses reveal. For this practice and for this time together, we're so grateful, and so it is.
The will of my heart, the will of my heart is to please thee. Oh, and constantly. Let's do it even bigger. The will of my heart, there we go.
We believe that everyone here today is here by divine appointment and not by accident. If you're new to Unity of Olympia, you likely received a welcome packet on your way in, and you'll notice there's small rolls of the packet. And if you would attach that to your clothing so that we can recognize you, and then the members can warmly greet you. We'd love to get to know you better, so please join us in Social Hall after the service for refreshments. At the welcome table, you'll find more information about Unity, and if you complete the guest survey and return it to the team there, you'll receive a special gift. Our welcome team members are easy to spot. They have a green ribbon, and they'll be happy to introduce you to others and to answer any questions you might have. And if you're a newcomer and you did not receive a welcome packet, please stop by the welcome desk to pick one up. And if this is your second or third time at Unity of Olympia, we invite you to raise your hand so we can celebrate your return and welcome you back. We're here for your second. Welcome. Will the ushers come forward, please? As a spiritual cooperative, we each give what we can to support our community. In this way, we put feet to our faith in the natural abundance of God's world. We invite our guests to receive today's service as a gift we do. As always, you can make your conscious contribution on our website or via Venmo, or you can put it in the mail, or you can give right here today. In whatever way you choose to support the community, let's take your gifts in our hands, our hearts, and our minds, and let's bless them with divine love. Together, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Open to the sacred riches of our ancient source. We, as Unity of Olympia, joyfully co-create unlimited prosperity right now. Thank you.
Today I'm grateful. Today I'm grateful. Today I'm grateful for every little thing. Today I'm grateful. Today I'm grateful. Grateful for just what this day will bring. And it's an honor to give so freely.
blessing these gifts. We acknowledge that any monies received are symbols, that whether it was put into the basket as it went around, given online, however the gifts come in, we see them as symbols of love, of support, of intention. We are grateful for all the love, the support, and the intention behind this beautiful community. We see these gifts upholding this community, strengthening it, and allowing Unity of Olympia to express beyond our walls, out into the larger community and beyond. We are grateful to be part of this sacred circle of giving and receiving, and we bless every heart and every hand that has contributed. We know, too, that finances are just one way of contributing, and we bless everyone who has contributed their love, their energy, their service, their time, and their commitment to this community. For all of this good, we are so grateful, and so it is. Amen.
So remember to submit your prayer request in the prayer request box. We have one up in front and in the back. Lynelle will be in the back today in the sanctuary in front of the windows. She'll be available for a private prayer following today's service. The bulletin you received when you arrive lists our upcoming events and classes. For a complete list, please visit our website at unityofolympia.org. Any special note? All right. The flowers today were provided by Alicia Long. Thank you. And we always like to give them away. So today's recipient is going to be Terry Charles.
Thank you, Rodney. Let us pray. I invite us all to circle up for the prayer for protection. You can handhold if you wish, but it's not required. All right, let's travel over this way. I worry about standing too close to the microphone. All right. We're almost all there. Okay, here we go. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, including right here, right now. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, friends online. Let's wave to everyone and give them a good send-off. Happy Sunday, or wherever you find yourself. And